Focusing on this one thing will easily 10x your business, and here's exactly what I mean. Regardless of if your business is at 10K per month or $10 million per month, this is always the number one thing the founder should be focused on. What is it? It's selling. But it's not as straightforward as it seems. There's two types of selling. The first one is direct selling, and the second one is indirect selling. And here's the differences between the both. When it comes to direct selling, there's two types of direct selling: one-to-one selling and one-to-many selling. One-to-one selling is just you hopping on a one-on-one call trying to sell a prospect on your product or service. Okay, it's the type of selling that everyone does, especially in the beginning. And then one-to-many selling is a leveraged form of selling. It's the same thing. You're hopping on a call, except you're not hopping on a call with just one other person. This is, people call it webinars or master classes. They branded different things, but you're hopping on a live call, ideally a live call with 100, 200, maybe even 300 people, providing value to them and then pitching them on your product or service as the end. So instead of you spending an hour or two selling one person, you're spending the same amount of time selling, 200 or 300 times the amount of people. It's called leverage. You get much more input, or no, you get much more output for the same amount of input, which is the same amount of time that you're spending selling. And then when it comes to indirect selling, the two types of indirect selling is content and ecosystem. Okay, so simply building up your personal brand, providing value and content, and your ecosystem is either in the form of an email list or community. Basically, one place where you want to centralize all your leads into one place where they can block out their noise and focus on your value and your messaging. Okay, and the more indirect selling you do, the less direct selling you're going to do. The more indirect selling you do, the less direct selling you will have to do. Reversely correlated to each other. So the less indirect selling you do, the more direct selling you're going to have to do. The more convincing, the more pitching you're going to have to do to the prospect. Okay, so ideally, this is why you really want to create content, especially nowadays where the trust levels in the market have never been this low. Okay, so now it takes a lot more to push people over the fence of buying your product or service. And so you want to position yourself as an authority figure, trying to help them, trying to provide value, not a marketer trying to sell them. It's a huge difference, especially when everyone's running ads. There's a ton of noise in the marketplace and you need to separate yourself. Okay, and so as you scale, your priorities as the founder go from selling to prospects, which if you want to do, you focus on creating a valuable product, which is going to give you credibility if you have results to show people, and just providing a lot of value via content or via your community or email list, whatever your ecosystem is. It shifts from selling to prospect. It's still a priority, but the priority grows into selling to talent. So you're still selling, but you're not trying to convince someone to give them money. You're trying to convince someone to come to your company and help you build it. Okay, and the way you sell to talent is by having a mission statement. So you want to have a mission statement so people are motivated to work at your company. You don't want it, just to be tedious work where people feel like they have no purpose, they have no value. You want to give people a reason to work at your place. You want to incentivize them. Warren Buffett said, if you want to, learn human behavior, look no farther than incentives. Incentives rule the world. Okay, and what is the best way to incentivize people? It's with compensation. So paying people well, pay people more than your competitor, because the extra whatever it is, 20% more you pay for A players will more than pay for itself by the amount of profit, the revenue, the amount of value they're going to create for your company. Okay, and so there's different priorities for different founder levels. Okay, and here's what I mean. So different founder levels is simply based on which revenue level you're at, how much revenue is your business making, and when you're at a different founder level, there's different priorities when it comes to direct selling and indirect selling. So when you're at founder level 1, which is 0 to 10K range, the main form of direct selling you should be doing is one-on-one sales. So you as the founder, don't look for a closer just yet. Don't look for to outsource just yet. You need to hop on prospects, not just building this the skill of sales is good. Yes, it's valuable. Every founder, every CEO should know how to sell. But when it comes to specifically one-on-one selling, it's more so to talk to your prospects, more so to validate, to hear from your prospects' own mouth whether this product you're selling, this service that you're selling is something that it solves the problems that they have. If it's valuable, you need to validate your product or service, and you need to get over the hump of someone handing you money for your product or service. It's very huge. It's very important. Okay, so that's the main form of direct selling. And when it comes to indirect selling, creating content and building your ecosystem, do this from day one. Okay, in the beginning, it might be a little slow when it comes to creating content, growing your personal brand. You might not be getting 100 views. You might not be getting 1,000 views in the beginning. But as time goes, if you stay consistent, because most people give up within the first week, the first month, because they're not getting 1 million views in their first video. But if you stay consistent with it, your audience will compound onto itself. Your personal brand will compound, and it's not only going to become the most valuable asset within your business, but the most valuable asset within your entire life. Because if you have a huge personal brand, if you have a great rapport with your audience, then you can start any business, you can sell any product you want because they already know you already have credibility, and they already trust you. Content is super important, especially nowadays in 2025 where the trust levels have never been lower, and you need to stand out, and the best way to stand out is your personal brand and your content, your audience, your ecosystem. Okay, when it comes to founder level number 2, this should say 10K to 50K, level founder 2, outsourcing. You want to outsource one-on-one sales. Okay, at this point you already have consistent lead flow, you already have consistent appointment flow, your calendar's probably getting flooded. So what you need to do is you need to systemize this, create SOPs, create trainings, systemize the process of onboarding sales reps or finding sales reps, onboarding them, ramping them up, improving their performance, tracking their data. So that way, it's real life. In reality, you're going to churn through sales reps. And so as you churn through sales reps, you need to be able to scale. And so you need to have a systemized way of onboarding each sales rep. So, so you're not in a situation where every time you onboard a sales rep where you're, fucking like don't know what to do. You're trying to like train them on random things. You need to have it all systemized. Okay, and so systemize that and outsource one-on-one sales, and you as the founder focus on the big picture and focus on things that move the business forward. So strategy, content, building your personal brand, deconstraining the business. Okay, because selling is something that can be outsourced and it takes up a lot of time, especially if you have a lot of calendar or if you have a lot of appointments in your calendar. So outsource it. Okay, create a system, systemize it, and outsource it right away. Okay. And then same thing for indirect selling, create content and build up your ecosystem. This is always going to be the number one thing in your life. And so founder level number 3, 50K to 100K plus, one-to-many sales. This is where you probably already have a decent audience built up, a decent personal brand built up. And so you can leverage that to market a webinar, a masterclass, get 100, 200, 300, 400, 500 people on one call and implement leverage, provide value to them, spend an hour and a half, 2-3 hours providing value as much as you want. And then at the end, incentivize them to buy your product or service, create urgency, pitch them on your product or service, and make sure it's actually valuable. Okay, so create value within your pitch. And this is how you get 100x, 200x, 300x the output of doing the same thing, spending the same amount of time, except with 300, 400x the amount of people on one call. Okay, it's leverage. If you have not implemented leverage into your business, it's going to take forever for you to get rich. Ideally, you want to get rich as quickly as possible, and implementing leverage is the number one way to do that. And when it comes to indirect selling, the same thing. At this point, your audience is probably compounding onto itself nicely, and just focus on creating content, stay consistent, and you're gonna beat all your competitors. Okay, content, personal brand is literally the number one thing. Okay, I've repeated it so many times, but it's true. And so if you've noticed, the constant variable in this whole equation is creating content and building your ecosystem. No matter if you're on day 1 of your business or day 10,000, this is always something that you're going to need to be doing. You always need to promote. You always need to get attention, and content is the best way to do that, and it's the free way. Okay, and it compounds over time. Okay, you always want to have some sort of mechanism, some sort of flywheel, some sort of variable within your business that compounds onto itself. Okay, and content, your personal brand, is probably the best way to do that. Okay, and so this is the one thing you should focus on as the founder. But selling doesn't necessarily just mean you hopping on a call with one person. You can sell to people to work for you, one-to-many selling. There's different forms of selling, and it should always be top of your mind. How can you promote? How can you get attention on your product or service? And how can you sell it to more people? Okay, and so if you want to go ahead and book a free one-on-one AI value call with me, it's the first link in the description. If you want to grab a piece of the $15 trillion that AI is going to add to the global economy, if you want to partake in this revolution, go ahead and book that call, and we'll talk about how we can scale your AI agency, start selling AI infrastructures, so we can all partake in this massive revolution that's happening. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.